welcome to the explainer. Look, the IELTS exam, it can feel like this huge, scary thing, right? Well, it really doesn't have to be. Today, we're going to crack it wide open. We'll break down the whole test, piece by piece, to give you a super clear strategic path to nailing it. So, are you feeling a bit overwhelmed by the whole IELTS thing? Yeah, that's completely normal. You're definitely not alone. It's a big, complex exam. But here's the deal. By the time we're done here, you're going to have a solid, step-by-step plan that'll help you turn all that stress into some serious confidence. All right, so here's our game plan. We're going to deconstruct the test, master listening and reading, ace the writing, nail the speaking, and then we'll get into your time management plan. Let's jump in. First things first, we have to understand the battlefield. Let's really break down the structure of this exam. Because honestly, knowing exactly what you're walking into, that's half the battle right there. Okay, your very first decision, and it is a huge one, is picking the right test for you. Are you heading to university or trying to get registered as a professional? Then you're looking at IELTS Academic. It's filled with, well, academic texts from journals and books. But if you're aiming for other types of study, work, or migration, then the general training test is your target. It uses more everyday stuff like ads and handbooks. You've got to know which one you need because it completely changes the reading and writing sections. Now, check this out. It's a perfect split. Listening, reading, writing, and speaking, each one is worth exactly 25% of your final score. What does that tell you? It means there are no weak links allowed. You absolutely can't afford to focus on one area and let another one slide. They're all equally important. So here it is, the master blueprint of the entire test. You can see right away that listening and speaking are the same, no matter which test you take. But the real fork in the road is in reading and writing. That's where academic and general training go their separate ways. And yep, you're looking at just under 3 hours total. It's a marathon, not a sprint, for sure. All right, let's talk about mastering listening and reading. These are what we call the receptive skills. Your job here is basically to absorb a ton of information and find the right answers, all with that clock ticking down. It's all about efficiency. The test is going to throw a whole bunch of different question types at you. Multiple choice, matching headings, filling in the blanks on a summary, labeling a map. It's not just to be mean. Each one is designed to test a very specific skill. The real trick is to instantly recognize what kind of question you're looking at. Once you know that, you know exactly what you need to be listening or scanning for. Okay, let's talk about the one question type that trips up so many people. The difference between false and not given. It's so tricky. So let's be crystal clear. False, or no, means the passage says the exact opposite. The information directly contradicts it. But not given? That just means the information isn't there at all. You can't prove it, you can't disprove it. The number one rule here is you can only use the information in the text. Don't bring in your own knowledge. Okay, moving on to the writing section. This is where you switch from receiving information to producing it. You've got to create clear, well-organized English, and you've only got 60 minutes to do it. Now, task 1 is where you really see that academic versus general training split. If you're doing the academic test, you're basically putting on your data analyst hat. You'll get a graph or a chart and you have to describe what you see. But for general training, you're putting on your communicator hat. You'll have to write a letter to handle a real life situation, like asking for information. 2 totally different skills. And word count is a big deal. For that first task, whether it's the report or the letter, you need to hit at least 150 words. That's the minimum. Then, for task 2, the essay, that number jumps up. You've got to write a minimum of 250 words. And that higher word count kind of gives you a hint about how important this part is. And just like the overall test, the writing score is broken down into 4 equal parts. It's not just about grammar. 25% is for task achievement. Did you actually answer the question? Another 25% for coherence and cohesion. Do your ideas flow logically? Then you've got lexical resource. That's your vocabulary. And finally, grammatical range and accuracy. All 4 are just as important as the others. Okay, let's talk about the speaking test. For a lot of people, this is the most nerve-wracking part because it's a live, face-to-face interview with an examiner. But don't worry, once you understand how it's structured, it's a lot less scary. The whole thing is set up to ease you in. Part 1 is just a warm-up, really. The examiner will ask you some pretty simple questions about you, your home, your job, your hobbies. Then comes Part 2, the long turn. You get a topic on a card, and 1 minute, just 1 minute, to prep your thoughts before you have to speak for 1 to 2 minutes. And finally, Part 3 gets a bit deeper. The examiner will ask you more abstract questions related to the topic from Part 2. And look, the scoring criteria here should look pretty familiar. Just like with writing, they're looking at 4 things: fluency and coherence, how smoothly you speak, lexical resource, your vocab, grammatical range and accuracy, your grammar, and this time, of course, your pronunciation. It's all about how well you can get your message across. All right, we've saved maybe the most important skill for last: your time management plan. Because look, you can know all the English in the world, but if you can't manage that clock, you're in trouble. This is about winning the race against time. So you get 1 hour for reading and 1 hour for writing. It's a 60-minute challenge for both. Here's how you should think about it. For reading, you have 3 passages. The golden rule: give yourself about 20 minutes per passage, no more. For writing, you've got 2 tasks. The smart money is on spending about 20 minutes on the first task and a full 40 minutes on the second. Now, why that 20-40 split for writing? It's simple math, really. As you can see here, your essay in Task 2 is worth twice as much as your report or letter in Task 1. It contributes a whopping 2/3 of your writing score. So it makes perfect sense to give it double the time, right? So how do you actually use those 40 minutes for the big essay? The absolute worst thing you can do is just panic and start writing. No, you need a strategy. First, take 2 or 3 minutes to really analyze the question. Then spend another 3 to 5 minutes outlining your ideas. Then you write for about 30 minutes. And this is non-negotiable. Leave yourself 2 or 3 minutes at the end to check for mistakes. Plan, write, review every single time. And one last little golden nugget of advice, but this is only if you're taking the paper-based test. At the very end of the listening section, they give you an extra 10 minutes. This isn't for checking your answers. It's just for transferring them from your booklet to the official answer sheet. Use every second of it. Check your spelling. Be careful. This is where easy points can be lost. So at the end of the day, doing well on the IELTS isn't just about how good your English is. It's a test of strategy. It's a test of timing. It's really a test of how well you understand the test itself. As the quote says, when you know what's coming, you have the power to handle it. Preparation is absolutely everything. So there you have it. We've taken the whole exam apart, we've looked at all the tricky questions, and we've laid out a solid plan for managing your time. You literally have the blueprint for success right in front of you. So the only real question left is, what are you going to do first?